Well, hello, good sir.
Well, greetings and salutations and welcome. And it looks like it's just going to be me and Chris here on this 149th edition of The Other Side of the Ball. So, Chris and I will do our best to try to bring you the top 7 offensive linemen from this past season, as Corey is on assignment being dad, if you will. So, with that said, it will be me and Mr. Vera running the show. Good afternoon. How are you?
I'm doing well. How about you? Can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can hear you fine, sir. Yes, you
Okay.
are. You sound as manly as you always do.
Yeah, just for me, it's a double audio today, and I don't know why. I'm getting you through my computer and my headset, which is a little odd,
Hmm. That's interesting to say the least.
right? And
But
I was checking my audio to make sure I was hooked up properly before we even started, and everything looked good. And here I am, kind of weirding out about this. Um, can you cover for 2 secs? I'm gonna sign out, sign back in, and see what happens.
all right. Well, while Chris fixes his technology.
Yeah, I love technology.
Oh yeah. Well, as you
Yeah.
always, as Mr. Mizzle from the job site, if you will. Greetings, good sir. Which, by the way, the latest episode of the Mizzle and Dub Show is currently up on the Mizzle and Dub Show page. So please check that out. As once again, we'll thank our good friend Josh Pinedo of the All Pro Joffles for joining us as we were talking about the Padded Football League, which is, of course, it counts next week, next Thursday, a week from tomorrow. And then for the rest of us, it is a full-fledged slate of college football starting tomorrow and all the way up until the weekend. But as previously mentioned, today's show is about offensive linemen as Mr. Vera comes back and rejoins me.
Yep. It's still doing the same thing. I'm just going to deal with it.
Okay. Interesting. But for all of your A7 needs, we're going to talk about offensive linemen, if you will, and how normally most teams in the A7 have 3, sometimes 4 linemen to try to make all this work and try to make the offense go. So, like I said, it'll just be me and Chris running the show today, which it's not the first time. And Mizzle says, "What's up, Mr. Vera?"
Hanging in there for a change and just getting ready to go to the in-laws for the weekend, which I'm looking forward to. Getting out of hot Vegas and getting into some cooler weather.
So, does Utah really not sell beer?
So that's an interesting piece. So if you want hard alcohol, you have to go to their alcohol store, their liquor store. You
Mm-hmm.
can't buy it like we can here. Um, Beer you can buy pretty much anywhere, and they
Mm-hmm.
used to sell nothing but 3-2 beer, and then they started to do what would you call it? They started to do a total different thing where they did a lot of microbrews in Utah. Well,
Ah,
kicked the 3-2, completely in their ass. So they decided to start selling regular beer. So no, they sell regular beer now. It's not 3-2, and you can purchase it anywhere. But still, you're anything other than beer and wine, you can't get at a liquor store. I mean, at a convenience store or at Smith's or any of their other stores. You have to go to a liquor store to get it.
I'm actually shocked that they sell wine. I don't think Utahns drink wine.
Well, they're still the ones that like to drink wine and bless everything, if
In
you
one,
will.
in one way, shape, or form, you are correct there, sir.
Exactly.
So there's there's that. But so for those that are watching, if you have your thoughts on who should be on this list for the top 7 linemen in our league. Please leave a comment and give us your thoughts, if you will. So, and others on the other side of the network, if you have thoughts and opinions, please hop on and give us your thoughts on who should be the top lineman
Yes,
or, or,
please.
or the top 7 linemen here in our league as we now go to the page. So, of course, Chris, as you know, football is, of course, won and lost in the trenches.
Yep. Oh, we
And
talk about that all the time. Sorry. Trying to jump onto our shared thing with because I'm trying to see if Corey actually gave us his top 7.
which he did not.
He did not. Okay.
He did.
Well,
He did not.
I figured I'd check. Got to give him the benefit of the doubt sometimes.
But I will say, now it's not going to be in no particular order. But I mean, there's a lot of players that we can pick. There's a lot of players that definitely contribute. Do you have any honorable mentions before we try to get this going here?
Um, I'm trying to think if I have any honorable mentions that would make sense right now, and I really I'm just running through them in my mind because I was thinking first off, let me backtrack just a little bit and say this. Um, the offensive line play this year specifically was a little haphazard with pretty much every team that we watched. I mean, there was always some good rushes, so it was hard for me to really sit down and pick out the top tier offensive linemen. Not as a knock to anybody, because I think that the top tier guys are the top tier guys. But I was thinking, okay, who can we pick that would make an honorable mention and would make sense? And that's where I'm having the biggest problem. So if you have somebody, I'm all ears.
Well, I mean, if you want to look at certain guys, I look at Reggie Black from Sick With It. I mean,
Yep.
all those years being in the force and then coming over to a new team, learning a new system, learning new teammates, but he definitely held his own, and certainly playing for Mark Gray, going to come in as well prepared as you possibly can. I thought he was solid, going from the gray, blue, and red of the Force to the orange and black of Sick With It. He's one name that comes to mind. Obviously, when he was there, when he played, obviously, Dave Valley was a huge difference for the champs when he was there, and it definitely showed. Certainly protecting Sterry and making sure that Sterry stayed clean, had an upward pocket. Um, that's another name that comes to mind. And I'm pretty sure, I mean, I can see players, I just can't put the names together, but when it comes to my mind, I'll probably possibly will say it again. So bear with me, America.
Right. It's one of those situations where when you start talking about and breaking down offensive linemen, there's what I would consider your top echelon players. If we're talking about the NFL, you could talk about ex players like and I'm just throwing out names that I could think of where these guys have been to Super Bowls. Eric Williams comes to mind from the Cowboys. Um, Trent Williams from your team comes to mind. I mean, there's a these guys just stand out. And when
Yeah.
I start thinking about the equal to that in the A7FL, there's guys that just stand way out, and then there's guys that are good, but they're just not quite as good as the top guys. So that's why for me, honorable mention. There's I would agree with you with Black. I would agree with there's probably 3 or 4 others that right now I'm trying to think of that would really should have honorable mentions before we get into the top 7. What we feel are the top 7.
Which again, for those that are watching, if you have thoughts on who should be in this list, please, by all means, let us know. So, as I am going through, as I'm scrolling, as I'm trying to get last year's list, just to give you an idea of how things can change from year to year, as I'm scrolling and doing some more scrolling and more scrolling in between. Um, a lot of information when you're in a doggone chat. As last year we did the top 50.
Yeah. Are you trying to find the top 7 from last year for the offensive line?
That's where I'm going, and that's where I'm scrolling. Obviously, having to go here and scroll and scroll and scroll some more. Which, again, for those that are watching, if you have an idea of who from the trenches should be on your list or who should be in the top 7 list, by all means, please do let us know. Come on, guys. Oh, buffering. Gotta love it.
Well, what I can do too is let me see if I can. I'm going to go see if I can find that as well. And I know it's you're right. When we have as many people on some of these as we do, it becomes very difficult to find everybody that that top list that we did last year. But I'm going to take a look, see if I could find it too. So, I mean, we could talk as we're both staring at our phones trying to find the damn list.
Well, I will put up there one of the Satista brothers who we actually got to see out here in Vegas during the Final Four. Jair definitely certainly is up there, as he was the guy that was doing his best to protect his quarterback in one David Tender. I definitely think he is deserving to be mentioned here. On this, of course, he's one of the co-owners of the Silks and Animals. Of course, that is Yahir Satistaban of the Santistaban brothers, if you will. So there you have that. As we're going down the list.
Oh, did you find it?
No.
Oh, okay. I'll keep
I'm
looking as we're
I'm
talking. I'll keep looking. I know that it's pretty high up here because I mean we got so much stuff that we went through, and I'm still trying to. Plus, we have stuff that we sorry folks, there's stuff that we do for our podcast, and there's stuff that we do for when we're calling games that kind of get thrown in here from time to time. So it's a way back machine, and realistically, I should have looked for it earlier today. My bad for not doing so.
Well, my bad because I was asleep most of the day, but this is what happens when you work late nights. You try to catch up on sleep.
Got to, man, because when you're used to being awake like we are during the daytime, it's hard to work nights and then think that everything's going to be hunky dory, trying to make it through the daytime.
Yeah, you're not wrong. You are definitely not wrong. As Dylon spits hot fire. Dylon.
Well, I am getting closer because I actually have some of the guys or some of the people from last year showing up right here. So I'm going to keep going, and I think I'm getting closer. So, is there anybody else that you would want to mention for honorable mention?
I'm thinking here. Like I said, if anything that comes to mind, I will definitely let
Share.
you know and share for sure. Um,
yeah, it's kind of weird to because I'm all the way back to last year already. But it was last year when we were trying to find it, so we should not be that surprising.
No, it shouldn't. Um, However, it's hard to believe that we are actually one show away from 150, which is
A little crazy.
yeah, to say the least. What do we do,
Little
Mizzle?
crazy.
Mizzle, what do we do? Did I miss
How
something?
dare y'all?
Did I miss something?
Yeah, I think we. I don't know. I don't know what we did. I won't even call that.
Well, some of us sleep during the day because we work nights. I
Not
mean,
prepared. And I work all day. What would you like me to do? Trying to be there for it. Doesn't always work. Unprepared. When did we do the last one? Do you remember?
um, gosh, it was definitely during 2024. Um, because most of the winter of earlier 2025, we were doing the top 50 of 2024.
That's right. And I think that, yep, it is. The interesting piece about this is now it's because I'm so far back, it's not letting me just scroll.
That's how it starts.
So I'm doing a day at a time right now, which is just ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
It definitely
Wait,
is.
hold on. Oh no, that's rosters. That's not what we're looking for.
No.
Man, Mizzle, you're right. How dare we not be prepared?
However, again, for those that are watching, if you have a name that you think that should be on this list, tell us, and why do you think he should be on this list? Because there's plenty of people. And there goes Mizzle being Mizzle, being the wonderful ace hole that he is. But however, we are glad you're with us. As
He stays on our head, doesn't he?
he wouldn't be him if he didn't.
Yeah, well, I like calling him out too, so it's it's all good.
Now,
Now what?
but one thing we can say, we promise there will not be a Ramsey on this list because I don't think a Ramsey plays offensive line. So that is one thing we can say. There will not be a
Oh,
Ramsey
that's 100%.
on the offensive lineman list.
And that's the only place that they don't play, if I'm not mistaken.
Offensive line, that is correct.
Although, is it just me, or have we seen Keith play offensive line before when needed?
He might have. It would be hard to say.
It'd be very hard to say, but at the same time, it's an interesting piece. So I am back to some of the stuff that we were looking at, if you will, on last year's top 10 or
Mm-hmm.
top 50. So
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm getting closer because I just need to, because if you remember when we did it, we did the top 50 individually, but then we
Mm-hmm.
did the individuals as far as, because right now I'm looking at the top 10 was Dave Valley, Mac, Gary, Sterry, RTC, DP, Munchie, Asante, Henderson, and Danye were the top 10 from last year. So I know I'm getting closer, but I'm trying to find where we had the individuals where we put um, by you know by position.
Okay, so I got it. So this was last year's top 7.
Oh, you got it.
Yes. So,
Sweet.
uh, so, and there was a lot of debate, but last year number one was Dave Valley. Then he had Kenny Mack at 2, Josiah Sal, he was at 3, Clark at 4, Johnson at 5, Lugo, who played Sickwood but did not play this year, he was at 6, and Big Wes at 7. So that was last year's top 7 offensive linemen, and I can pretty much tell you that at least 3 of those names will be back on this list for 2025. Um, and we can just go from there. But I think I have one honorable mention if I could find it.
Yeah, go for
As I'm scrolling,
it. I gotta love it.
disappearing. But I would say Josh Wheeler. I would say Big Dozier, Quay, Kason Hood, of course, who made holes for one Captain America of the Virginia Heathens.
Yeah.
But also Mr. Burrows made he made holes for himself with the way he ran the ball. That's another honorable mention. And if I can scroll, if I can also get to it, we can also mention some guys from Corey's team. As well, I mean, even Corey Hammond played some offensive lineman throwing blocks, but
I think Corey would say he just got in the way.
yeah,
I don't
but
know that he would necessarily say he was blocking. I think he'd just tell you, I just got in the way.
But you got Dante Brown and Torrey Smith that played on the other side of that played on the offensive line. Also, you got Michael Jackson and Scott Lamb. Of course, they were opening holes for one Corey Hammond to protect, and of course one Joseph Mancebo running the ball, and of course Bobby Newman protecting in there at tight end. Of course, the owner of the Hawks. He's definitely worth an honorable mention. As we're just going through some honorable mentions from all the teams here in the AFL, as we're talking about offensive linemen and who you think your offensive lineman, your top offensive lineman, should be for 2025.
Well, I will tell you, I am a little, the one name that I think probably miss off this list this season because of how little he played is probably going to be Dave Valley. Would you agree with that?
I would agree.
Yeah.
As good as he was.
I just can't see putting him on the list with the amount of games that he missed.
Agreed.
I know that he's injured, but I think he came back, and I don't even know if he played all game long in the championship. I think he played sparingly.
But also want to give a shout out to Robert Izzard, coach is from the Renegades. Also, Joseph Rivera, the Almighty, who also helped serve at quarterback for the Renegades, the much improved Renegades team. Also, big shout out to London Brown, Teddy, and Lloyd Haynes. Desh Money, his nickname. Also, Matt Jackson, who played on the offensive line, and Vel Daniels, a.k.a. Big Dude, and Big Jose Madero, of course, protecting Anthony Zervis, who played mostly quarterback, and, of course, Dave Wallace, a.k.a. Big Honcho, one of the best nicknames in football, giving the Renegades some honorable mentions here. As, again, we're just scrolling through the offensive linemen here inside, or not inside, but on the other side of the ball.
Yep, and I finally found it. I see what you're saying with not in any I don't think this is before we put them in any order with Dave Valley, Mack, Sao, Clark, Johnson, Lugo, and Oos. That was before we put them in any order. And I think we want to do that again. I think that we want to take a look at this and do we I know that last week when we did the defensive line, we put those in order. I don't know if we want to put them the offensive linemen in order today. Give the names and then put them in order. Is that what we want to do?
Well, I mean, the objective is we want to keep it, keep it in order. But I mean, if you want
Oh,
to
for
start,
sure,
but if you
for
want to
sure. But
start,
I feel like we're and please, if you think I'm wrong with that, let me know. But I feel like the two of us doing this and leaving Corey completely out is like, okay, if we have a tie, we don't have our tiebreaker tonight.
valid point, very very valid point. Um, which, by the way, I guess you can call this the Dub and Chris version of the other side of the ball.
Right?
As Corey is on assignment, but we are talking about offensive linemen as we are staying in the trenches here on the other side of the ball. But I mean, let's just also just give some shout outs to the QC Crush and their linemen with KT, big number 71. Of course, we do have also June Washington. Oh no, I'm sorry, Mr. Not June. He played defense. But Jeremy McCombs, Melvin Broach, Seth Kozak, Bandamont, Aaron Bandamont, who also played on the offensive line, big Joshua Van Streen, the Red Ranger, aka Courtney Cole, Seth Chambers, James Daniels, and Nevin Ward, giving some shout outs to the trenches for the QC Crush that did their best trying to keep Keno Thomas afloat, which at times was very, very hard. Then of course, as always, but I mean, I guess one guy we could put there at number 7, from the Octane, of course, Corey's favorite expansion team, would be one Brandon Garst, who certainly did his best to protect his quarterbacks on the Octane, as the Octane had their second season here in the A7. Of course, protecting Tyler Pennington and George Smith at quarterbacks and Jaden Miles. But definitely, it just goes to be said of what he can do on the field, helping his team win. Also, Shamar Thompson, but I think Brandon Garst, certainly, who plays both sides, who plays offensive tackle and he plays safety, but certainly want to recognize him for what he does on
tackle and safety.
Yes, Garst plays tackle and safety for the Octane, yes.
Wow.
So that is certainly one way of playing, being in the trenches and then playing center field, if you will, on defense. But my number 7 guy is Brandon Garst from the Indianapolis Octane, if you will, which is wild to think of. But the Octane only had one win on the season, but that one win was impressive as they won at home against the Heathens in a very competitive game, 37-24, back on April the 27th. But Brandon Garst.
Do you have your
go ahead?
Do you have your top 7 listed already?
No.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, will you shoot that over to me so I can take a look at them, but that's all right.
Well, that would just be my pick for who I would pick at number 7. I mean, if you have somebody different, you could definitely voice your opinion.
I don't have a problem with that pick for number 7, and I think that it's actually a good pick, knowing who I think the my top. I think I know who my top 3 or 4 will be.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't have a problem with that pick at all.
Okay.
That mic is a little too close.
Hey, water is good. Again,
yes.
if you're in the heat, If you're in the heat, stay hydrated. That's all I can tell you. That
Yeah,
is
I
all,
would
all,
agree 100%.
all I can tell you. All right, so from the Octane, we have Brandon Garst coming in at um, number
Number
7.
7.
Yes. So now we move on to number 6, if you will, as we are scrolling. Wait, what am I doing here? Gonna scroll here. Um, okay. As I look here, um, as I'm looking, look.
So
I'm still looking.
I think we're gonna agree on number 1. I don't think we're gonna have a disagreement with it, knowing where, you know, what we've already said about Dave Valley and some of the others. I'm thinking um, we've kind of got, and don't let it, you know, don't get it twisted. I think that there's more than a few really good offensive linemen, but the one that I have in mind that I would consider number 1 is, I'm guessing, would be your number 1 as well.
Well, you'd be hard pressed not to say that he's not.
Yeah,
That is for certain. Um, that is definitely for certain. But I think for number 6, coming back here to the Vegas Valley, I'm gonna say Gerard Terrell, big number 55 for Siquid. I thought he was very solid for Siquid in protecting Kenyon Stone King. I thought he was very stout in the run block game. Making holes for whoever was running the ball for Sick. At times it was Southern, at times it was Big or Ficatuli, or at times it was Big Melvin Houston that was running the ball for Sick. But I thought, and also a big Easy E, Eric Williams. I'm sorry, that
yeah.
is
But when
definitely.
Houston was running the ball, man, that was he is a load to bring down.
And not to mention, Mr. Terrell is a very big boy.
Yes, I would
Very big.
definitely put him at around 250.
That would be a good fair assessment. But certainly, I think he was definitely a guy that definitely. I think as the season got better, I think Six offensive line got better. I mean, like I said, you had for the most part this season you had Terrell and you had Big Reggie Black blocking.
Yeah,
Also sometimes you had Big Donald Hughes in there blocking. Sometimes also you had Big Dante Woods Jr., big number 65. So, I mean, there was a plethora of rotational pieces that Sick had.
but it's
But
weird because the best line, and even when they're in the playoffs, their best anchor to me was still Josiah Sal. I mean,
which
he was.
which we'll talk about him later on as this
Yes, yeah.
show
Let
as
me
the show
shut up now and
progresses.
just let it go.
Yes. So there was one freebie we just gave away for y'all. All right.
Yes, my bad. I couldn't
But
help myself.
I know. Well, I mean, again, you got a guy that played in the Southeastern Conference. Some might say the best conference of college football. I mean, it's hard not to talk about. But number 6, I have one big Gerard Terrell, big number 55 for Sickwood coming in at number 6. And
And you hear me arguing.
before we continue, real quickly, certainly want to send our thoughts and prayers to the people in the Twin Cities as once again another shooting takes place, which unfortunately took the life of a 10-year-old and an 8-year-old as they were at mass, if you will. 2 other children were critically injured. The gunman did kill himself with a self-inflicted gunshot wound, but certainly want to send our best wishes and thoughts and prayers to the people of Minnesota for this just senseless um, tragedy. Just wanted to get that
It's
out the way real quick.
I having a daughter that's in school, obviously makes me think about this many different ways. Um, it is the one thing that I can say that just really, uh, it's not irritating to me. It's almost one of those things of you can't make it up, but it's crazy that the last three shooters, mass shooters like this, that have gone to schools have all been transgender. I'm not trying to get political. I'm just trying to say that, is there a mental issue with some, not all, with some, with that situation where you have the last three that have attacked schools have been transgender. But it is a sad, sad state of a sad situation. And, two kids will never be going home again. And that's just hurtful.
Very, very much so. Certainly, uh, I mean, to say the word tragic would be a severe understatement, but I mean,
Yeah.
it's just very tragic. So, parents
Especially,
hold
go ahead. I'm sorry.
parents hold your loved ones close. Because this is, I mean, I'm not a parent, but I know a lot of many of great people that are parents, and it's just it sucks. It really does suck. It sucks. Major, gigantic. It's just tragic, but certainly want to give our thoughts and prayers to those affected by that. So we will try to get back into football as we now reach number 5 on our list for offensive linemen in the NFL. Chris, who would you say would be your number 5 tackle or number 5 offensive tackle?
So this might surprise you, and you might put him higher. And if you do, I'm fine with that. But because of some missed games, and when he did come back into the division and into the league, this is where I would have to put Josiah Sal is at number 5, because I don't want to take away from guys that were there all year.
Mm-hmm.
And guys that were, didn't miss too many games. I know, and it's no knock against him. I know that he had some stuff that he was, some other responsibilities he had to take care of. Let's put it that way. And he came back to A7 after those things were done. But I've got to put it to him where I didn't see out of him all the the things that we like to see, catching the football out of the backfield,
running over a Ramsey.
Exactly, a Ramsey. You don't necessarily have to say one, but a Ramsey, and doing some of the things that we've seen him do in the past. So, yeah, I would have to put him at number 5. Thoughts?
Well, obviously, you saw the difference when he made his return back to Sequid. You saw the
big time.
You saw the spark. Well, not only on him playing not only on him playing defense, but also him playing offense. And again, his versatility, as we always talk about, is second to none. As we said, he does both sides very well and very predominantly dominant. He's certainly one of those top tier guys to where if you're drafting an A7 team and you need help in the trenches, he's definitely one guy that would be taken off the list quickly because of his versatility. And I mean, don't let the size fool you. Big Oos can run for a big man, and he's got he's got very good hands. We have seen him do many one-handed catches. I mean, it's a phenomenal thing to watch him be this agile and be this quick for a big man. It really, really is.
I would agree. I mean, he is what I would consider very special with what he's able to do. I would also say that he is one of the guys that I watch on the offensive line, and is surprisingly agile for such a big guy. And I think that he is also one of those guys that if I was starting a team tomorrow, he would definitely be high on my list as far as guys that I would want to bring in
Oh
and
yeah,
play on
he
for me.
he definitely would be off the board very soon. Like, because I mean, his talents are just second to none for sure.
Yeah. I mean, and the thing about it is, if you think about some of the other guys that we've already mentioned, and if we were able to, if there was an all-star game, and I'm just throwing this out there to kind of put players together, I could just imagine him with some of the guys from the Insomniacs that would be a very formidable offensive line, not to mention very agile offensive line. So I don't know how you feel about that, Dub, but that's just something in the back of my mind that I was thinking about. And I guess while Dub is on mute, I will continue with my rant. Um, just because I don't know what he's doing, I can't see him. So anyway, what going through that with Sal, it's one of those. He's one of those offensive linemen, like Dub was saying. He if you were picking a team tomorrow, he'd be one of the first guys taken. I think that there's also a lot of opportunity that guys like him and some of the other guys that are what guys that I would say would be starters on the offensive line for a lot of different squads. I think that Sal would be one of those guys that whatever team picked him up, he started. I mean, he is that athletic and that good that he would find us a home no matter where he went. And as much as I hate to say this, because I would hate to see it, if Sal was with BIC next to Dave Valley, oh man, that would be it. That those two would be very much unstoppable. Not to mention, I think that they would do a hell of a job blocking for Sterry, and it would just mean another possibility of another championship. I mean, those two guys are very, very, very good offensive linemen. I don't want to give away any other names that could be on our top of this list. We're up to 5. We've got 4 more to go, and I don't want to kind of steal the thunder from any of the other gentlemen that we could possibly be speaking about. So we'll see what other guys or what other names come up on this top 7. Well, Dub is taking care of something real quick, and I'm sure we'll be back with us shortly. But we'd really like your input. If there's anything that you guys see, anything that you guys are wanting, any names that are coming up. So far, all we've gotten is the defensive line and offensive line. We still have obviously cornerback, safety, all the other positions to go through. So if there's other players that you think should be in the top 7 of their whatever their position is, let us know. Put it in the comments. Heck, send us a email, whatever you guys want to do to get those names out there. We're willing to listen because we don't think that we're the end all be all, but we have been tasked with what I think is a fun thing to do, and we'd like to hear from our audience on it. So if you guys have players that you think should be in the top 50 this year, let us know. All right. But anyway, I would like to move on and give you guys number 4, but Dub's got the list, so I've got to wait until he comes back on and talk about some of the other stuff that we have. I don't know what else to tell you. But like I said, if you do have any questions or names for us, please let us know as soon as you can. Next week, I don't know if we will be jumping to back to defense, which I think we will do. We'll probably do corners next week or safeties, and then we'll leave wide receivers, running backs, and quarterbacks probably for the last 3 weeks of us looking at the top 49, if you will. So Hopefully Corey will be back with us. We'll get some other input on these top 7, see who else is who else is a possibility, and kind of go from there. So what I was saying while you were taking care of business was just some stuff that we might see over the next couple of weeks. Telling everybody who's listening, hey, if you've got a position and some names that you would like to see in those in the top 7, to let us know.
Well, I will say, I would say this. Maybe we should put a vote to the fans that watch this show and ask them, which position would you like us to do next week? I think that's something that we should put on one of those A7 pages, or put it on the other side of the ball page and put it as a poll question, and then whoever's in that page, they vote on it to see, okay, which position should we do next year?
It's not a. You mean next week?
Next week, yes. Which?
Yeah, okay. You said next year. I'm like, whoa. Okay, we're gonna. All right. You know what? I will see what's going on with the other side of the ball page and see if we can't put up a something there.
Yeah.
We'll
Yeah.
put it up and see what the next position should be.
Yeah, I think that's like, we decided that if we start with the trenches last week, we should stay in the trenches this week. But
Yeah.
next week, we'll leave it up to you, the fans, you, the viewer, which position you want us to talk about next week for the top 7 at 7. As again, we've already done offensive lineman, or we're doing offensive lineman now. We've done defensive lineman last week. So again, which position would you like for us to vote on for the top 7 next week? As we are now at number 4. Staying in the West, of course, hard not to keep this man off the list, as he once again was a solid number 2 protecting one Scott Scooter Hamilton. Of course, talking about Big Wes, Big Oos, coming in at number 4. We're at number 4. Yeah, we are at number 4. Number 4.
Yes.
We are at number 4 on this list, of course. Big Wes, of course, the other tandem of the great Insomniacs offensive line. Of course, we've talked about verbatim at so many times of just how much Big Oos has tremendous feet, but they're quiet feet. They're not too noisy. And again, we've always talked about how if your feet are quiet, that just shows you of how good your blocking technique is and how you're good at the point of attack. And Big Oos is certainly one of those guys that is certainly great at the point of contact, at the point of attack, to where you constantly see him, in addition to his big Cornhusker teammate on the other side of the ball, or on the other side of the line in one, well, we'll talk about him later on this countdown. But
see how hard it is not to give it away?
He is a great compliment to his teammate, protecting Scott and creating holes for Wilkerson or Juice or Devontae. It doesn't matter who's coming out of the Insomniacs backfield running the ball. When you're talking about big Wes the Oos, of course, certainly is a very powerful individual. But I mean, most Polynesians, most Ooses that play in the trenches are normally very powerful and are very, very light on their feet. Anything else you want to add, Chris, about Big Wes?
And just that, he is, he's a load, and he, like you said, he's one of those guys that you'd see. I would put him with Dave Valley, with some of the other guys. When I say that, I'm talking about their ability, their agility would be the best way to put it. These guys are light on their feet. They can block even speed rushers, and they've got the power to stymie pretty much anybody. It is interesting to watch. I think the only time that I've seen Big Oos have any problems are when guys try to swim over the top of him. Once they get him off balance a little bit, that's the only thing that I've ever seen him kind of, and you might get one or two on him with that move, but that's it. Once he's seen what you've got and he's seen that setup, it's very, very tough to make that play on him again. But he is definitely one of the offensive linemen that I would have put up here on this list. He was on it last year, and I don't think much has changed. I mean, he did help get the Insomniacs to the championship yet again.
I mean, very hard not to deny that. Um, I mean, certainly him along with this other Big Ten who is going to be talked about later on in this countdown certainly is definitely no stranger as he is on this list for a second straight year, along with Josiah Sal on this list for a second straight year of top 7 offensive linemen in the American Sevens Football League. Um, now, this next one, I actually reached out, and who else better to mention this than Mr. Ken Stansbury, who gave me some very, very good info. But going back to the East and going back to the champions that is the Trenton BIC, coming in at number 3 from the champions, Big Sky, Skylar Lash, one of the many men protecting Sterry and making sure that Kason Campbell made history this past season. And certainly he was a very, very big factor in the championship game, certainly making sure that Sterry stayed clean and making sure that Stereo, of course, who spent the whole entire year not throwing one single interception on the season.
Well, that's so good.
Yeah, not one single pick. Now, there's not even people in the padded football league that can go a season without throwing an interception, which just goes to show you how hard it is not to throw an interception when playing a game of football.
Oh, it's almost impossible. I mean, to be able to do that at any level, let alone the A7 with so many ball hawks that we have playing in secondaries with different teams, it is a very big piece of what you can say about Sterry as a quarterback, but also what you can say about his offensive line, keeping him clean, so that way he wasn't rushing any throws that could have been picked off. So it was a very interesting. A very interesting game, or a very interesting season to watch him over this past season. I really didn't see him what I would consider rushed and throwing the ball up for grabs at any point in time in the season. I really didn't see that. Now, will I sit here and tell you I've watched every single last second of every single last game? No. But out of all the games that I watched with him, I did not see that situation where you would normally see an interception thrown by a quarterback, and that is rushing a pass. And I didn't see that from Sterry. So, big ups to his offensive line, keeping him clean all season and not throwing a pick at all.
I think there's only one bad pass I've seen from Sterry all year, and actually it was when they came out here to Vegas to where a ball that should have been picked off by Deion Southern was not.
Oh, yeah, the one that hit him in the chest?
Yes.
Yes.
And because, I mean, now Chris has played football, and the combining of football that me and Chris have watched in our lifetime certainly always tells you that if you drop what should have been an interception, you always get burnt. Normally, you always get burned on the next play, or something bad happens for the defense. And of course, giving somebody, as of course, yes, I'm now bringing in the ball here as we have the ball in our background. But normally, when you give the great ones another chance after you should have picked something off, 99.9% of the time, you normally pay the price and you pay the piper. And Sterry certainly did that against Sequita when they did not pick that ball off. And Sterry does Sterry things, which he's probably going to be more than likely another candidate to win another MVP in this league as soon as we find out who the nominees for MVP and all that stuff will be. But certainly want to thank Ken Stansbury for giving me some good info as I reach out to him. But of course, coming in number 3, one of the protectors of Sterry Condriton, big Skylar Lash Sky from the defending champ, or the newly crowned champions for the third time, the Trenton BIC as I'm trying to almost kill my screen with the football. But again, as Chris said, for those that are watching, we will put up a poll question, and we'll do this on all the players' pages, if you will. But which position would you like for us to talk about next in the top 7 of 2025? Which position would you like for us to happen? Please, when we put the poll up there, vote. We'll tally it up, and whoever gets the most, or whichever position gets the most votes, will be what we will talk about on our 150th episode coming next week, which is, gosh,
Crazy.
crazy to say.
Very.
But it is what it is. But staying in the East and staying in Trenton, New Jersey at number 2, another key cog in the Trenton BIC offensive line that helped protect, carry, and stand it up wide. Very popular, a long-time member of the BIC. Of course, got to see him last year and got to see how much he meant to this team. But K-Wack, big Carnell Wilson coming in at number 2 on our top lineman. Another reason why Sterry stayed upright and also did not throw any interceptions this past year. But also, K-Wack also goes back and forth because he also plays both ways. But certainly him on the line helping keeping Sterry afloat certainly is a very good position here at number 2, showing why that the Trenton BIC once again climbed back to the A7 throne and claimed the championship of this league this past season of 2025.
Yep. And they, the thing about it is when you think about both those players and then you add in a Dave Valley, it's an incredible offensive line when you have those 3 guys. And I think that, if they have Dave Valley all season next season, which they should, they're going to be a tough out with those 3 offensive linemen, because they can run the ball against you, they can throw the ball against you, and it's going to be a very tough thing to beat the IC next year.
Well, like Ken Stansbury has said many times, the only thing the BIC has not done in their A7 history is they have not gone back-to-back. And that's the one thing they certainly want to try and accomplish going into 2026, even though there's going to be some loaded teams that are going to reload and revamp, like the Animals, like the Watchmen, like the Renegades. So, I mean, it
like
definitely...
the Insomniacs.
Them too.
And, the thing about it is, as we sit here and we talk about these things, the thing that we have not talked about at great length is a sick-witted team that realistically is only a few players away from being a very potent team here in the Nevada division as well. And I think that we could be, a Mark Gray with his ability to bring in players and his capabilities. I think that we could be looking at a situation where we have 2 fantastic teams out here in Vegas and all the teams back east, and it should make for some really great football next season.
Well, I mean, as I have said many times, again, there's no moral victories. There's really no... Some say there is no positives in defeat. But again, as I've said, perhaps sick-witted gain more by losing to the BIC than they did if they were to win, because they earned a lot of respect for the way they played the eventual champions of the A7. But certainly, I mean, many people say you don't benefit from a loss, or, because a loss is a loss. But, I mean, in the case of Sick, it definitely earned them some recognition and certainly gained them some respect, and perhaps maybe they get more of a following just because of how they played the BIC and how well they were represented this past game against the eventual champions. But K-Wack, Meester, come on now. Go back. There we go. Mr. Cardinal Wilson coming in at number 2.
You know, the thing about it is that I've gotta say before I answer this, um, the thing that I've got to say when thinking about stick with it, and I understand what you're saying. Sometimes, you know, we a loss is never a good thing, but you can learn from losses. You can learn from certain aspects of the game, and I think that you know, in my estimation, just my thinking, Mark is such a smart coach that I wouldn't be surprised if some of the things high on his off-season duties would be to bring in a couple of more defensive linemen that are going to be able to pressure the quarterback, because I think that that's the only place that they might be a little light at. Um, and linebacker, no, I take that back. Linebacker, they're fine. I think it's just the defensive line. But they gained a lot with a lot of respect from BIC. We heard some of the guys talking about it. I had some people kind of say things to me as well, individually from back east, which was kind of nice to hear. So it is good to see what's going on. Now, AJ, Mr. Jackson, I am not sure I follow your question here, and the reason why I'm not sure I follow your question here is because Bagway was the starting
Yes.
quarterback for Nightcrawlers.
He was, yeah, and the Nightcrawlers this past season, for lack of a better term, they folded.
Yes.
And Mark Bagway took his talents to the Triton BIC, to which, again, I mean, as great as Bagway is, and seeing him live in person and seeing what he did in 2023 shows just how much of a true talent and just how much of a true football player that he is. But coming over to a pillar of the league, like the Triton BIC, and given the fact that Sterry Codrington is a multiple-time MVP in this league, but you know, Sterry is as selfless as they come, because he's not big on hogging the spotlight. He is always willing to share with his teammates. But coming over to the BIC, I'm pretty sure Bagway came in with the understanding that this is Sterry's team. I'm not going to start over him. Just let me help however they want me to help. Anywhere else, with the exception of a few teams, Mark Bagway is starting on one of these teams because his arm talent is ridiculous. But I think that is why, simply right now, anyway, he's not a starting quarterback in this league. Now, if the Nightcrawlers come back into fruition, boom, there you go. Maybe Mr. Bagway can go back and once again lead the Nightcrawlers for their quest for a championship. But that remains to be seen. But for now, he is just being a contributor to the Trenton BIC, complimenting Sterry when they do decide to go with the backstack, as they're normally accustomed to doing from time to time, with two different arms.
And keep in mind too, the other side of that is
exactly any other team with the exception of a few, he is a starting quarterback on all those teams.
But keep in mind too, he did not play all season with
correct. BIC. Correct. He did not.
I think he played the last 5 games,
give or take.
You can't say that, you know, he's not a starter. He is, and he would be a starter on lots of teams. You can't come to a team in the middle of the season and think that you are, just because you are a starting quarterback from the Nightcrawlers, that you're going to be a starting quarterback over Sterry Codrington, who was the starting quarterback and has been for BIC for many years. So that is something that is, Bagway is a starter, but he came in with the thought of he is going to help them out however he could, and that's exactly what he did. I've talked to Bagway many times via chat, and also when they were here 2 years ago now. God, I believe it's been 2 years. And we were in Bullhead, and I talked to him before the game, talked to him after the game, and just very much down to earth guy, just a team player all the way around. So it is not surprising to me whatsoever that he would be with a team like this and just do whatever it took to get them to the championship game and get them a win. So hats off to Mark Bagway and what he was able to do on the 3-on-1s, which really helped the team get over the hump. And he's a great talent. His arm talent is like like Dub said, second to none. But the bigger part about it is how elusive he is. There's a lot of teams that would love to have him as a starting quarterback.
And his speed. His speed is ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, there's a reason why he plays corner as well. And that's the thing that sets him apart. He is an athlete, period. The fact that he's got the arm talent that he does is just a big upside, but he is just a straight athlete. So there you go.
Yeah, but I mean, that's a very good question, AJ. Thank you for asking that. Once again, we are going to go, and unfortunately, we had some technical difficulties with some Facebook pages, and we apologize for that. But for those that are still hanging out with us on YouTube, we appreciate it. But again, we will reach out to the A7FL Nevada page, the Jersey page. Certainly want you guys to, we're going to put a question up there. Which position you want us to vote for, or which position do you want next up for the topic of the top 7 at 7 in that position? We did the defensive line last week. We're doing the offensive line this week. Which position next week you want us to talk about as we celebrate the 150th episode of The Other Side of the Ball?
That's just crazy, man. I can't believe it's 150 episodes in.
Yeah. Which originally started off on podcasting, then it went to Zoom, and then for a while we were inside.
Well, no, it started on Zoom.
Started on Zoom.
Yep.
Then we were fortunate to be at a studio for a while, which was very, very fun. And again, special shout out to Quan59 for letting us use the studio for a bit to film our Other Side of the Ball podcast, which is greatly appreciated. And of course, for the last few months, we have been using the StreamYard platform to continue The Other Side of the Ball and to bring you the Other Side of the Ball network. So we are greatly appreciative for that. However, again, we'll put that vote up there, and you guys tell us which position y'all want us to vote for, if you will, in the A7. But we have now come down to number 1, and it's really not surprising. And you have heard Derek Duncan talk about this so many times. If he ever was to start a team, he would be his first round number 1 draft pick overall. And of course, we're talking about the big Cornhusker. That is one Kenny Mack, and I will let Chris Vera take the reins.
Hey, take the reins to talk about Mr. Mack. I don't know how else you talk about a offensive lineman like him, other than to say that you saw him. You saw the week we called the game where he was literally playing without cleats, and he was pushing guys out of bounds without cleats. I've seen him go up against some of the better defensive linemen in our league. I mean, in our division, in the overall A7, and push guys around like they are nothing. Kenny Mack is, and I agree with Derek. He would be, if I had to take, if I already had if I'm the quarterback or I'm the wide receiver, whatever of my team, and I'm starting a team, Kenny Mack is my first pick. I don't know about you, Dub, but that is my feelings all the way through. He's just incredible. Your thoughts, Dub? Your thoughts? You're on mute.
What's going on here with my microphone? Again, there are so many superlatives you can say about Big Kenny Mack. Not only does he play offensive line, but he also teaches and coaches future offensive linemen here in town with the youth. I don't know if he's still there, but I know he has coached at Desert Pines, coaching the Jaguars offensive line. Um, I know he was coaching one Greg Burrell, who's going to college. I forgot what college he's going to, but he's got a Division I scholarship, and of course he was under the tutelage of getting blocks from Kenny Mack's old line. But I mean, Kenny Mack, not only does he love to play the game of football and play the online, but he also loves teaching the game, and you see that when he teaches his own kids and these other future offensive linemen that he helps mentors, and what he does. So I
But
mean,
you also got to mention how he teaches the game, because he teaches the game the correct way.
correct.
And he is not about shortcuts. He's not about trying to do things in a way that isn't responsible. And the great thing about it is he uses what his life experiences have taught him to help these kids out. And he's out there showing these kids how to play the game. And when I say that, I have not heard anything but absolute great things about the offensive linemen that have gone through and done training with Kenny Mack.
I mean, it's hard to, it's definitely hard to put it up there because I mean, like I said, it is one of the best stories that he had graced us on the show and told us about how the Panini brothers, saved him, and it's just it's a great story to tell. It really really is, but hard to be compressed to where this gentleman is not your number one offensive lineman. Talking about one Kenny Mack. So if we're going to go from scratch yet again, um, here are your top 7 offensive linemen. Well, this is from me and Chris anyway. Like I said, the others I'm sure will throw in their stuff when they are available. But I mean, this is just what me and Chris come up with. But at number 7, Brandon Garst from the Indianapolis Octane. At number 6, from Sick With It, one of the newest additions for Sick With It, big number 55, really cuz Gerard Terrell, coming at number 6. Coming at number 5, his teammate, and that's probably only because he was not there for the whole season, but big Josiah Sal coming in at number 5. Certainly doing what he does best, showing off his versatility. Number 4, the Oos, Big West, from the former 2-time champions, the Insomniacs. Of course, some of the best footwork in football, and certainly deserving to be on this list again. Coming in at number 3, from the defending champions, the Trenton BIC. That would be where's he at? One big Skylar, who of course wore number 26 for the Trenton BIC. Of course, we are talking about one Skylar Lash, and then of course coming in at number 2, his teammate K-Wack, Carnell Wilson, the other side of the line, protecting Sterry Codrington and helping them lead to another AFL championship. Of course, coming in at number 1 is the big Cornhusker himself, Kenny Mack. Which, again, did you have any of these guys on your list? If you have your list, please join us and also show your list. Yeah. This list is just not for us. It is for all the viewers. If you have your own lists of who you think should be the best offensive lineman or the top 7 offensive linemen in this league, please let us know, and we will possibly post your comment here on the Other Side of the Ball, here on the Other Side of the Ball Network, which has been the Chris and Dub version of the Other Side of the Ball, right? As Mr. Hammond is on assignment.
Well, and keep in mind too that when we're making this top 7, right, these top 7s by position, this is not the way this list is going to shake out for the top 49. Just keep that in mind. This is just a piece of us moving forward with everything that we are going to do with this list. So if you haven't heard a name called just yet, please, by all means, let us know. And don't forget to tell us what position they play, because we've had names come through before that we didn't know.
Yes.
we had to look it up and see what position they played, because we didn't know they didn't. It's a team or nothing. We just had a name.
Yeah, so if you have names that you would like to see on this list, or if you have a list of your own, or if you have a position that we didn't talk about you want us to talk about, please let us know, because, again, this show is for you, the fans, that love this brand of football that is known as the A7FL. So, there you have it with that, if you will, as we have some vastly things going on here. Obviously, we know that the other stuff coming up very soon, Paddock football coming up very soon, possibly a A7 fall flag season might come to fruition. We'll keep you posted if that will happen. We don't know.
And for those of you that are asking about that, it's the A7. If we do the A7 flag, it will be A7 rules, but obviously with flags rather than the tackle, which it's going to make for some interesting stuff, because they don't have a 3-on-1 throw off.
They do not.
From my understanding, and I haven't played flag in a long time, so bear with me. But from my
understanding, that is your baby. That is your baby.
Yeah.
Flag was your baby. Flag was your baby for a long time.
23 years. 23 years I was playing flag. So yeah, that was my baby, and we played flag like they play A7. I mean, it was full contact flag in my days. Much different, I think, than it is now.
And our apologies to Donnie Lyons, who was playing flag football in plexiglass, and kind of ran into the plexiglass as his speed knows no boundaries, like he is Barry Allen and like he's the Flash. But
dude, I thought he was going to go right through it. I couldn't.
I thought the same thing.
After he posted it, all I could do was laugh. I'm sorry. I heard the bang, and he's like, "Don't ever play flag football. I mean, don't ever play football on a shortened field with plexiglass." And I'm like, well, why would he say that? And then I watched the video, and I'm like, oh, that's why he said it. Okay.
Yeah. Otherwise, you'll feel like you're playing in the NHL as opposed to playing flag or in the A7 crashing into
the wall.
Into the wall. From the window to the wall, if you will.
Yep. Yes. I'm just glad he didn't hit the ground.
Yeah. And he was not and he was not seriously hurt.
Yes. Yes. I mean, I had flashbacks of me playing, because we used to play out in the street. We used to play tackle out in the street.
Oh yeah, I remember.
I ran into a friggin' my next door neighbor had I'll never forget this. He had a Carmen Ghia, and it was on a trailer. Well, luckily I missed the trailer, but I ran into the damn car going for a pass.
You sound like me, although in my case, I was trying to preserve the bus to get on the bus, and I end up running into a parked car.
Well, yeah, the car was parked, unfortunately. And Chris ran right dead into it. I didn't catch the pass because, unfortunately, the ball was thrown a little bit too far outside for me to catch it over the car. Had I seen the car, probably could have jumped on top of the car and made the catch, but I didn't see the car. So I will give you guys two guesses who won that one.
Just a bit outside each other corner miss. And, of course,
yes.
Mizzle. And, of course, all those emojis by Mizzles, because he was actually there when it happened. He was there with me when I ran to the parked car trying to make the bus driver stay so he didn't have to walk. But Mizzle was with me when that day happened, and obviously the parked car won the matchup, if you will.
It's amazing how they're undefeated.
Yeah, just like Father Time. Always undefeated. Always undefeated.
Yes.
And he will emphasize, yes, the hell he was there.
No, I think it's yes, the hell I was laughing.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, he was just like being like my grandmother because my grandmother would laugh at me every time I fell down, and
Oh yeah,
she'd be like, "I told you." I'm like, "Granny, this is not funny," and she's like,
no,
"Yes, yes, yes, it is."
yes it is. Yes it
Now,
is, and it's
are you okay? I mean, she still was being granny and loving all that, but you like, you gonna fall? No, I'm not. Told you.
yeah, yeah.
But howbeit ever,
So many of those
wow,
times, so many of those memories. But
yes. Oh, of course. That's exactly where she. That's exactly where she got it from. She got
yep,
it from. She got it from Granny. Like tell people, my mom. I mean, yeah, she's a praying woman and all that, but she can be an ace at
oh yeah.
at times. Like she'll get on me when I'm posting senior pictures, and she'd be like, "Oh Lord," and I'm like, "Mom, why are you hating so much? You are such a hater."
Oh man, let me tell you, I had um, quick story that'll make everybody who understands us start bust cracking up. So my mom and my grandmother used to make hot sauce all the time,
Hot the
and
sauce.
yes, and they would use ghost peppers, if anybody knows what those are, and some of the other really, really hot peppers they would use. And my cousin was the type that you couldn't tell him anything. He had to find out for himself. So my
Of
grandmother
course.
sat him up on the counter and she told him, his name's Russell. She said, "Do not touch the hot peppers." So she continued cutting. She turned away, turned back. All the hot peppers were gone. And she looked at my cousin, and he's just sitting there friggin' tearing up and just having a hell of a time with it because he didn't want to let her know that all the hot peppers were in his mouth that she told him not to
Autumn.
touch. So he's
Boy,
sitting there, and my grandmother took one look at him and said, "Well, just sit your little ass there and burn."
with
Damn.
fire, fire,
Yes,
fire.
yes. I'm sure he was breathing fire later that night because I'm sure that burned twice too. Once going in and once coming out.
Oh yeah, he definitely was sitting on the throne, if you will.
Yes,
Um,
yes.
certainly we would like to apologize as we had some technical difficulties with a couple of our Facebook pages to where the stream stopped. So if you were watching on one of those pages, we sincerely apologize. Hopefully that'll get fixed up for next week to where you will not have that technical difficulty. But for those that are watching on the other side of the ball, on the other side of the ball network, we appreciate you guys for hanging out with us, as it was the Dub and Chris version of the other side of the ball, as we were giving you our top 7 offensive linemen of this past season, with number 1 being Kenny Mack, who last year was at number 2, if you will.
Yes.
Um, but
But
this
Dave
year,
Allen, number one, wasn't he?
Dave Valley was number 1 last year, yes. Which again, really, theoretically speaking, they both could have been 1 and 1A, and there was no wrong answer.
No, I
Um,
would agree with that. I mean, and again, just something to think about, and I mean this. I mean, really, really think about the situation with this. If you had um, Kenny Mack, Dave Valley, Josiah Sal, all on the same offensive line,
that's a lot of beef.
that is, I would put that at 369. I put that over 900 pounds of offensive linemen,
Total
and you
combined weight.
probably be pushing closer to 1,000 with those three.
Oh boy.
And I mean, that is, forget the fact of the weight. Let's get into what it truly means, and the athleticism that these three men bring to an offensive line. That offensive line, I mean, you would. I don't know that you would put any pressure on the quarterback at all with those three guys.
You would have to get your hands up if you want to knock a pass down, because
Yeah,
there will be a clear throwing lane for whoever the quarterback is behind those 3, for
I would
sure.
agree. Would agree. Man, we're
But
closing in on it already. I can't believe it's
yeah,
already 6:55. Yeah,
yeah, 5 more
quick.
minutes. Um, I guess it would be time for our final thoughts if we have any.
Um, In the middle, we talked about the tragedy in Minnesota that kind of hits close to home. My aunt and uncle are up in that area,
Are they?
so yeah. Luckily, though, I don't have any cousins that are going to school in that area. But I mean, one of my thoughts would be for all the parents, and I know how I feel about my daughters, and God forbid anything happens to them. Um, I'll put it this way: if an individual is responsible for anything happening to my daughter or daughters, all I could say is I am going to put on that orange jumpsuit with a smile on my face. We'll just leave it at that.
He says you will get to see Jesus real soon.
Oh, I will arrange the meeting without a shadow of a doubt. I will arrange the meeting. But on the other side of this is just overall, man, we really have to come together, stop being so divided as a nation, start really pulling things through for the people, and not make it about what it's been about for the last 10, 12 years. Well, 20 years, if you will, maybe even longer. Um, Football is one out for us, for all of us. It is a piece that we have commonality on, and people can get together with, and it is a brotherhood. And I've said that time and time again. I'm not going to change that.
That you have.
Yes, and it means a shit ton to me, and the guys that play mean a lot to me because I played the game myself. So I will always have a lot of respect for the guys that are out there putting on the uniform and playing this game that I love. So watch out for one another, man. We've got to be able to do that, and we got to put our petty differences to the side and really pull together as a nation.
Very well said. Oftentimes you have heard me say the old quote from the late Jerry Springer. At the end of every show, he would always say, "Take care of yourself and each other."
Yes, sir.
And I say that for a lot of reasons, but mainly it's because back in the day, I mean, when Chris was younger and I was younger, you know, your neighbors looked after your kids if the if the parents had to go do something. That's just the way it was. It was that ultimate sign of respect of the neighborhood because you guys watched out for one another, and I think a lot of that has fallen by the wayside, if you will. Uh, Good, bad, or indifferent. Um,
Get your
because
ass
right,
whooped by your next door neighbors and brought home so your parents could whoop your ass.
that too,
I'm guilty. I'm
or
guilty.
or the parents will say thank you or any time, and then they would add to whatever the parents would add to you, and then you get a double time, and you'd be like, I don't want this smoke. But
Right?
at the same time, again, political parties aside, and if you have windows, get rid of them. But at the same time, um, I've often always said it does not hurt or does not cost a thing to be a decent human being. And unfortunately, I think we have gotten away big time from human decency, and that's a home run. Yay. Um, but however, um, decency needs to come back because it has lost its way. Um,
I
we
think we've
as
all lost our way in a way.
we as a society need to find our way back. Need to not hold grudges and need to not be bitter. Um, and learn how to treat one another. But uh, I don't know nothing. That's just what it is. But certainly, our personal thoughts to those in Minnesota. Um, certainly, it's unfortunate that a parent, two sets of parents have to bury their child. That's not supposed to be. The child's supposed to bury the parent, not the parent bury the child. But did your offensive lineman make the countdown? Do you have a countdown to who you think your top 7 offensive linemen are? Please Let us know in the chat. Let us know on the Ace NFL pages all across the way. For Chris Vera, I'm Double A saying thank you for watching. Thank you for hanging out with us on this Wednesday evening on episode 149. And we shall, if I can find a dog on it. There it is. But scrolling. However, we say thank you. And now we'll see you for episode 150 next week of The Other Side of the Ball. And as always, take care of yourself and each other.